And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, everybody, welcome in. We got a jam-packed show tonight. I think a lot to discuss, a lot of things going on in multiple sports at LSU. Fall Baseball World Series this weekend after they put a big number up on ULL on Sunday. Women's basketball recruiting, LSU loses one to South Carolina after 5 o'clock earlier this evening. Victorious Miller, I don't think it's happened yet, or maybe it happened right as we're going live. If it hadn't happened yet, they're not getting him. I know a lot of people were predicting him to LSU earlier today or whenever, but that's not happening for men's basketball. So both LSU women and men are not getting the folks and the girls and guys they wanted. And Jayden Daniels for the Heisman. Where's that stand? Where's it going? What needs to happen? LSU football again this weekend. Georgia State Saturday night in Tiger Stadium. Unfortunately, the season-ending senior night is at 11 in the morning, and that's just terrible. But we can talk about that and a lot more on of course, Pride Roofing is our title sponsor. Thanks to them. If you're enjoying the show, hit the like button. And my cohort, Buddy Songy, welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike. Hope everybody doing well out there. And it, as Mike alluded to, there's a lot of stuff going on. Wrapping up football. Mike, we talked about it. I've said it many times. We'll never see another offense like 2019, and they still have not gotten to those numbers because that 19 team played 15 games. But I'm going to say it right now. I don't think I'm going to live long enough to see ever an LSU player accrue 606 yards in one game. We'll talk Heisman. We'll talk about Alabama, Georgia. Can the SEC get two in there? Controversy with Michigan and Harbaugh. And as you alluded to, this fan base wants to finish with 10 wins. Georgia State, 32-point favorite for LSU, 7 o'clock on ESPN2. And then, as you alluded to, Bourbon and Cheerios game, 11 a.m., which means the senior ceremony is about 10:40 on that Saturday after Thanksgiving.
I know it's normally the last game, but who says it has to be the last game? They probably should have moved senior night up to this Saturday night just because of that. Do it a week early, and so you have it in the evening, and it's a much nicer and more festive night. But it is what it is, and of course it'll be after Thanksgiving, and we'll see how that plays out. I don't know how A&M is going to play after firing Jimbo Fisher and having an interim coach and Elijah Robinson, and but it's going to be an interesting next 6 weeks between now and National Signing Day. Coaching searches out there. What's LSU going to do? Transfer portal, decommitment yesterday for LSU and Kai Bates. So a lot of pivotal stuff going to be happening across the board, and a lot of it, I think, is going to have Brian Kelly super busy. I don't think he's going to be getting any rounds of golf in.
Yeah, well, you're not going to be playing much golf anyway. Good to have a little wet weather and get our yards back green a little bit. Look, I said I'll never see 606 yards again. Can you believe it? Now, you and I both personally have a relationship with Jimbo. We knew Jimbo. And $76 million to walk away. Mike, $21 million with Gus Malzahn was the previous high buyout. Jimmy Sexton is the agent. He's the most powerful man in college football. You can throw him and Sankey and Saban and all the others, but $76 million to go. And I guess the question for Tiger fans is that, A, how will it affect their recruiting this year? And B, more importantly, will they be able to flip some of those guys like Relaford and others, Bussey, Miller, and the rest, and turn a positive? And obviously the third thing, who they going to get? Is he going to be a good fit? Because as you alluded to, 5 weeks, I think, from today, December 20. So we're talking 5 weeks from first signing period.
Portal period opens on December 4th. And what I gather from in College Station is that they expect to have a new coach by then. And so,
but that gives them 16 days.
And so you can, maybe you hemorrhage a little bit right now, but then they're going to get a big pop once they get a hire. When you introduce a new coach, there's renewed excitement, and that's just how it goes. And obviously, if you're spending over $80 million, or what's the total with the assistant buyout?
Oh, it's $100 million with the assistant.
Yeah. You know, I know
all those guys have 2 and 3 year contracts, making big money. You know, look, House and everybody's making $2 million a year. I mean, good coordinators are making over $1 million a year now.
Yeah,
easily.
I just don't know who they're going to go and get. It's going to be interesting to see what happens over there. I just, man, that is the craziest number to buyout I've ever seen. I don't know if that's going to become commonplace. You know, his contract was groundbreaking when he got it, and now his buyout is groundbreaking.
Well, and of course, if you remember, there were implications that Scott Woodward wanted to talk to him about succeeding Coach O, and Jimmy Sexton, being the good agent that he did, went and got an additional amount of money and years, and that's why the buyout is the way it is.
There's a conspiracy theory in College Station that Woodward did that on purpose, so that because he knew Jimbo wasn't at the game had passed him up, and he wanted to provoke A&M to lock him in long term. But I will say this: if he truly did want Jimbo to want to leave A&M to come here 2 years ago, then I might have to knock him down a few letter grades, because it was obvious then that the game just wasn't there for Jimbo.
Look, I'm in too good a mood. Please don't bring up the SEC office in Birmingham, the replay, all of that. I have washed all of that down the road. But I tell you what, I had a lot of people react to me during the game. And I think Coach Kelly, of course, he didn't get as mad when Dallas did that to Jayden Daniels at Alabama, but he did take some shots. And of course,
I'm surprised he didn't get fined.
Well, and we don't know if any of that came out, but after the game, he definitely said Dallas Turner went out to purposely hurt Jayden Daniels. And of course, we all know that Alabama was up 2 scores and they held on to the ball, but still to get knocked out. But the deal was, to me, the biggest problem I had, not reviewing it in Birmingham and then buzzing in after there was no penalty on the plate to review it then. The SEC, I won't tell you what I said earlier.
Now,
but
you started that diatribe by saying you'd washed it down the drain, and then you went right for
well, I mean, look, those bastards have been cheating for 50 years. If you're an LSU fan, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, James Moore says, hey, Mike and Buddy, with the success of offense, do you think Denbrock and Sloan may get plucked by the NFL or another college program? And what do you guys think of Zach Arnett replacing House? Look, I think Arnett's going to land just fine. Could he be a guy? I mean, what is it going to be a total clean house on the defensive side of the ball? Is that your prediction?
Well, Matt House is still the defensive coordinator. Zach Arnett, of course, is going to fit. He came over here and interviewed.
But do you think everybody's going to be going on?
I have no idea what Brian Kelly's going to do with his coaching staff. I do know this. If he does not make some changes, there's going to be a lot of scrutiny for year 3.
There's going to be some.
But there's got to be some. But, there's a lot of rumors swirling. But I don't know if Zach Arnett fits at LSU with Brian Kelly. You got to remember this. Brian Kelly, like many coaches, likes to hire coaches he's familiar with and he's worked with in the past. So I don't know if he fits, but I guarantee you he won't be not working for long, Arnett.
That's a good question, though, on Denbrock and Sloan. Obviously, Sloan is a quarterback's coach. He's not the offensive coordinator. He is paid very well. I suspect he'll get a bump in pay sometime soon. LSU is the school to beat for Bryce Underwood, so he's got a 5-star quarterback coming for the class of 25. It is just going to be off the charts. And so and I put in that prediction on Underwood to LSU already. So I don't know. If he gets offered an OC job somewhere at twice the money, he's got something to think about.
I think those guys will probably be back, but as you alluded to, you just never know who gets the job and who offers those guys. LSU averaging 6.32 yards per carry. Mike, used to be you run it for 5 yards a carry. That's pretty good. 6.32. By the way, in case you missed it, offensive line up for the Joe Moore Award. They did win that award in 2019. A lot of it credit to Burrow and what he's done. But this Heisman talk, we'll get into it after we get a break from the thing. I want to make a few points about that. People have to realize you don't win the Heisman after 10 games. And I think the biggest problem that LSU fans are not realizing is that when those teams are undefeated and play in the CFP, that's more games to show. Joe Burrow was unbelievable in 19.
When's the Heisman ceremony?
It will be December. I guess somewhere around the 10th or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, so the difference is the teams, anybody who's playing in a championship game.
Yeah.
But it's decided before any playoff games, but still, they do have that opportunity on the stage.
In the stage in the big game.
I just don't see Bo Nix beating out Jayden Daniels. That just blows my mind.
Well, look, when you compare them stat for stat, there's nobody better than Jayden Daniels, but you never can. And like Malik Neighbors.
And I tell you what I do like. I do like the geography of where Jayden Daniels at and the geography of his competitors.
Sure.
Because you can talk about who's voting.
They'll split some votes.
Where the voters are located. Jayden Daniels is the only SEC guy that's up on the list. Shoot. Man, you can put a circle around where Jayden's at, and he's in a good spot just for the number of voters and geography.
And, of course, the other thing, the 3 loss winners, Tim Tebow, RG3, and, of course, Lamar Jackson, who LSU beat in the bowl game. Dave Aranda locked him up at that. You remember that game. But those 3 guys did win it, and their team had 3 losses. There is precedent to give it to a guy that's been on a team that had 3 losses.
Fred Wright says clean house.
How about that pun with Fred?
Mm-hmm.
Clean house.
DJ says, Big Mike, where y'all at? Holden Lee, what's up, fellas? Edo got the crabs. Good evening, Mike and the legend. When is the best time to replace House, Steeples, and Cooks to minimize the effects on recruiting? And who would be good candidates? Man, there's so much stuff you have to weigh there. You got to weigh who's going to coach your team in the bowl game. You have to weigh cut and loose coaches who have relationships with commitments who haven't signed yet, and that's December 20 whatever. Was it 22nd? There's a lot of goings on there, but you can also get hurt by that. You can get hurt by having not made changes when you're competing for transfer portal kids. And if there's anybody there, the kids who can be there at midterm and enroll and be there for the spring. So there's a lot of things that have to be weighed there. Josh Forbes, hey, Mike and Buddy, hope y'all are doing well. JD5 for the Heisman. Go Tigers.
Yeah, you're right. Not to interrupt you. December 9th is Heisman. So 1 week after the conference championship games. And as Mike alluded to, that Monday, December 4th, is when you have a 30-day window. Used to be 45. They changed it to 30. 30-day window to put your name in the transfer portal. Do not have to give the destination or where you're going, just that you're going in the portal. And it'd be interesting to see if LSU, I don't think they lost anybody last year. Brian Kelly was very happy and proud about that. I do think there's going to be a little attrition on the portal with LSU losing some. And it just makes sense. If you're a 3rd or 4th year guy and you're not seeing the field, you've probably been recruited over at this point.
Chris Scott, Mike, a lot of smoke. Angel and Flauge are not getting along. Their moms went at it on social media today. Yeah. Got a lot of texts about that. Saw some screen grabs. I don't know what to make of that. Where does it go from there? I've gotten some salacious text messages. I don't know what's true on all that, but they need to get that fixed, whatever's going on.
And the good thing about reporting about that is that if anybody can fix that cat fight, it's Coach Kim Mulkey. She's going to say, I'm diva number 1. Let's talk about we and not me. And you got to understand, those 2 young ladies' lives have changed astronomical.
Well, the thing about it is, it's not. I don't believe there's anything with Angel and Flaugier. It looks like it's the moms, because I'll tell you what, Flaugier and what's funny is Kim said that yesterday, right? I mean, she really is the sweetest. You know what my first experience with Flaugier was? I showed up for something and I got all turned around inside the PMAC and didn't know what room they were having a press conference in, and I said, man, I can't. And she goes, oh, I know where it's at. Follow me. And like, she led the way. I mean, I'd never met her before. She'd just gotten there, and just sweet as can be. But I have a hard time believing that there's anything between the players. But
yeah.
So we'll see what happens, how that plays out. Guys, if you're enjoying the show, please hit the like button, share it to your social media. Big thanks to all of you guys for helping us grow this YouTube channel. We hit 24,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel Monday afternoon. And so thanks to all of you for hitting that subscribe button and spreading the word about TigerBait. And I feel like we've been loading it up pretty good. Preston's got a big interview that he did earlier today with a darn good guest. And it's we're going to load that up on the site in the morning. So be on the lookout for that. And of course, all that content on YouTube is free. Bar Smokey says, any positive news? Geez, he must have got the opening where LSU men and women's basketball teams both lost recruits tonight.
Yeah, Bart, we're still all alive. And it's look, Thanksgiving is what, eight days and 8 nights away. We're thankful for a lot of things. But bottom line is that there are peaks and valleys, and you know that the coaches, two that just won natties, they're going to have to defend. That's not easy. And you know, Brian Kelly is still trying to tweak, and I think we give him a chance to see what he's going to do. He did something that you and I didn't think he would do. I didn't think he'd send Brian Polian down the road because of those special teams, but he did. And we'll see how he handles it. I got to tell you, folks, it's not getting any better stat-wise, though, on the defense. And nationwide, people are asking, why haven't they been able to have a better fit with Harold Perkins this year? It's extenuating circumstances, whether you want Weeks to play Toviano or whoever. It's going to be an interesting last couple of 3 games.
Brad, David or David, with yours staying at Texas, do you think that Arch Manning will transfer somewhere? I don't think so. He's just a freshman. I mean, look, every time you get one of these questions, it feels like it's an opportunity where what's going to happen is I'm going to run the kid down or say he's not this or he's not that. He needs to stick it out and see what happens there. It's too early. All right, let me scroll up and get some more of these. Thank you for that super chat, Brad. Big time. How many baseball signees this year? Did you see that number? I admit that I was pretty derelict on baseball recruiting yesterday.
Look, all I can tell you is that as loaded as you've ever gotten drinking, that's how loaded this baseball team is in for years. They keep reeling them in. Baseball recruiting is different from anything. You bring them in 2 or 3 years early, and they usually stick. Gage coming over from UCLA and all the pitching.
Cavalcade kids.
Oh, I mean, no, I'm talking about Gage Jump, the kid from UCLA the Cavalcade. Look, they've got so much pitching. By the way, purple and gold captains are Alex Milazzo and Hayden Travinsky. Once again, Friday and Saturday, purple and gold. Then they'll take a break. And before long, we'll be talking about the opening of baseball in February. But trust me when I tell you,
yeah, Tiger Shark was fussing at me early. He's coming in from Shreveport, wanting me to go with him to the Friday night baseball game. And I'm like, man, I'm going to be in Hammond at the women's game. And if I wasn't going to be there, I'd certainly be in a high school playoff game.
I think the Friday is 4:30, I think.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have time. I'll be in Hammond by then.
But,
sold out arena in Hammond. And what's funny is I'm not the only guy out there. All the TV stations that cover high school sports. I think it's probably the 10 o'clock highlights for high school games might be a little lean this week because everybody's having to send somebody to Hammond for that. It's going to be a monumental night. It's if you haven't gotten tickets, it's It's going to be the biggest crowd in the history of Southeastern their arena, and of course it's Mulkey going home. That's her area. It's going to be big. Renee Rodriguez says, "Hey, Mike and Buddy, you both are great. Keep up the great work." Yeah, Barry Barbier. Losing to Nicholls State is pathetic and unacceptable. Very average coach at best. Talking about Matt McMahon. I did like his passion in the post-game press conference. But we're going to see how this plays out.
Well, look, they brought in a few more experienced players. And it's like Barry said and the rest of them, it's inexcusable. But that all being said, they are playing tomorrow at 3:00, I think, on ESPN2. And we'll see. They're playing Dayton, which is usually a pretty fundamentally sound team. But I have had very little pop of men's basketball. And then you lay an egg that early. He's going to have to beat somebody more than once. A couple of upsets to get this fan base back on his.
I will tell you this: the fan base is so apathetic to men's basketball. Look, Buddy knows it. He does a show every day. I look at my analytics on our website, on our YouTube channel. The biggest views for a post-game press conference that McMahon's had, or any press conference so far this year, was because of the loss Friday night. And I think that only got 1,500 views. A Mulkey video gets 1,500 views in about 60 minutes. I don't know what it's going to take to get to that next level. Are we hearing anything about what's going to happen with Jalen Cook and an appeal there? I mean,
I just know that right when it was being released, I was told that they were going to sue the NCAA. North Carolina wide receiver did that this year.
That'd be
the
a shot in the arm.
NCAA is over in the courtroom, but there's an Arkansas attorney who's well versed on beating the NCAA. But Jalen Cook, that's just horrible news too.
And that'd be a nice shot in the arm.
There's no doubt, but it's going to take time if that does actually come to fruition. Now, Kristen Fulton, I give Joel Lever credit because you don't give him a lot of credit for a lot of things, but they went to bat. And remember, they got Kristen Fulton back after a long legal.
I see a lot of hashtag BFFs in here, so that must be Big Cojones. Kelly's in here giving me the grief again. Let me see what else is going on. Okay. Yeah, Nick Berry says, does A&M need a new defensive coordinator? We'll be willing to give him one.
Oh,
yeah, he did. Fire 3449. Mike, did Wardell Mack, the DB from New Orleans, flip from Florida to Texas? Yes, he did. Terry Joseph, former LSU Tiger, recruiting for Texas and pulling in some kids, and they're spending money. Will Sloan be as good an offensive coordinator in 24 as Denbrock has been in 22 and 23? And you can also flip it around and say, will either one of them be as good next season post Jayden Daniels?
No, you're not going to be as good. You're not going to have this kind of money. When I say this kind of money, Jayden Daniels has been on the money other than the second half of Florida State, and that really wasn't just his problem. But, Mike, to see him run on skates, run away from people, take a beating, and throw the football so much better than last year, along with not delaying, more patience.
Would Joe Brady's stock have been as high had he stayed in 2020?
Oh, man. Look, you're talking about Brady and Burrow. Now you're talking about Sloan, Denbrock, and Jayden Daniels. Just be happy you had such great quarterbacks.
But that's what you do as a position coach and as a coordinator. Go read their bios. I mean,
sure.
Many of the paragraphs about who they coach and who went to the league and, what has Jayden Daniels done for the two of them?
I don't think they're going to average 560 yards a game next year.
Yeah.
I don't. Now, as we know, they have run the football. How many touchdowns do you think LSU had the last year of running the football?
No, I don't know.
8. In the first year with Brian Kelly last year, they had 39 rushing touchdowns. They're going to run the football next year, and they like to run the football. But, man, you're going to be losing Jayden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Kyron Lacey, Charles Turner, and I think Logan Diggs is probably going to if he's graduated from school, I think Logan Diggs could certainly go out. That's a ton to replace next year.
Guys, the team at Koala Insulation of Baton Rouge are your residential and commercial energy efficiency experts. The approaches Koala provides not only help you reduce energy bills and maintain a more comfortable living environment, but can also help reduce airborne allergens, water condensation issues, wear and tear on your HVAC system, and even lengthen the life of your roof shingles. The Koala team provides existing homeowners with a doctor's diagnosis of your home's energy efficiency and can offer several strategies to help you stay more comfortable and save money on energy bills all year long. Koala has the capacity to tackle large spray foam projects and new home construction while being available to help everyday homeowners get some relief from South Louisiana's extreme weather. As an added bonus, most of Koala's projects qualify for federal income tax credits. Give Koala a call today at 225-457-1001 to schedule your free energy efficiency assessment. Tim DeSales and his team are fantastic. Love what they're doing there, and nobody does it better in South Louisiana. Tell them you heard about them on TigerBait, and they're going to give you 7% off on your project. And it's also that time where let's hear from Mike and Alex over at Pride Roofing.
Hey, it's Michael and Alex again with Pride Roofing. Here we grow again. Did your roof get to Niger and Hurricane Ida?
The insurance company is playing game with you.
Don't forget, August 29th is your 2-year anniversary to make a claim.
Your neighbor got new roof. Why not you?
Pay your deductible. We're fortified, certified.
We do your roof. You came on the Pride umbrella. Bet on Pride.
855-PRIDE-16.
All right, 855-PRIDE-16, anywhere in South Louisiana, commercial or residential roofs. Tell them you heard about them on TigerBait, and they're going to pay for you to have TigerBait Premium free for a year. And Pride Roofing, we're going to see them on Friday out in Hammond. They're going to have a tent set up outside the arena. If you see the Pride Roofing tent, come by and say hello. And it's going to be a fun time over there. And again, Houma, New Orleans, Hammond, North Shore, Baton Rouge. Nobody does roofing better than Pride.
Hey, don't forget, of course, we talk about it, residential, commercial, and metal roofs. Look, they continue to buy companies that make them a better company. And we have many times said, Pride, you're going to have pride with this team or that team. You're going to have pride if you do business with them. 275-2041. We're very busy in Baton Rouge. We're not on TV every 30 minutes, but we're very busy. Mike Kirby and the gang, 275-2041. If you get an answering machine, leave a message, 855-PRIDE-16, and talk about giving back to the community. All the hurricanes, all of the crazy weather and devastation we've dealt with the last 3-4 years they've been involved, and now heavily involved. You'll be in the Pride Roofing facility Friday night at 7 o'clock.
Absolutely. Kent Jones with a super chat. Hard to predict, but do you guys think we could make the expanded playoffs next year? If we improve all year, maybe we make a run. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see anything right now that leads me to believe LSU could be a playoff team next year.
But it's too early for me. I mean, let's at least find out who the quarterback's going to be and what they're going to have defensively. I mean, Mike, they got to fix the defense. And you're losing a lot of megastars.
Just knowing what we, as of right now, not knowing what's going to come from the portal, if they get a portal quarterback to be a strong number 2 to Nussmeier or push him for a number 1, the fact that the schedule flips back around, some teams are going to be improved.
Tough schedule, though.
It is.
You're playing USC and UCLA. USC to open the season in Vegas, and UCLA coming here, I think, the third weekend of September. Have Alabama and Oklahoma here.
I'm at 8-4 right now. I'm not going any higher than that right now.
I want to wait and see what they look like. But they are number 15 right now.
There's some big warning signs. And let me tell you something else. Okay, what's going to be the number on defense? When you're saying, look, LSU's got this many starters back on offense and this many. First, the good news, you got this many starters back on defense. Now the bad news, you got this many starters back on defense.
Well, I think Coach Kelly realizes he's got to fix the defense if he's going to compete at the level everybody wants him to.
And are you okay with carrying over the way special teams was handled this year?
I don't think special teams is anything special. I looked it up just for the stats. LSU has returned 3 punts this year for 32 yards. Aaron Anderson had one for a -3, and then Clayton has returned 2 for 35 yards. 32 yards. On the flip side, there's only been 1 punt returned with LSU on the defensive side. But, man, the return game. And then, of course, it's so sad, a game that Caleb Jackson, the perfect fit, one of those full of P&V, I'm going to mess you up games, physical games. He's getting in the mix. He scores a touchdown right up the gut. Holy cow, deja vu with Jack Besh fumbles the kickoff and got put in the doghouse after that.
Thank you for that super chat, Kent. I want to talk about something. Cody Worsham out at LSU really had a really good tweet earlier. Some of you might have seen it, and I went ahead and downloaded it and loaded it in the system so we can talk about it. But look at this graphic right here. I sent a copy of it to Buddy, and he can maybe even see it on my screen right now. Yeah. But look at those Heisman winning quarterbacks since 2012 versus Jayden Daniels. And it's pretty staggering. He's the best. He has the best passer rating at 202.1. He's got most yards per game at 408.2, and he has the second most rushing yards per game at 91.8. And Cody added, only Daniels and Joe Burrow have averaged more than 400 total yards per game and had an efficiency over 200.
Yeah, I wanted to verify on that thing. The extra game, Mike, where the conference championships is the game I'm worried about. Jayden is going to be sitting at home. And whether it's Bo Nix against Michael Penix. Look, somebody mentioned J.J. McCarthy to me, and I'm going, what? This guy threw 1 pass last week. I don't consider him. Travis, of course, is a guy that could get an opportunity to go there. And you go on and on and on. But lo and behold, the stats, and I think last week got him to New York for sure. But as you alluded to, interesting to see the geographical breakdown when it's over. And if Penix and Nix are going to split a lot of votes, that could help JD.
Yep.
But he is going to be sitting home on that conference championship Saturday, and that's when a lot of guys will have their Heisman moment.
Mick McGrath brings up this question too, and I don't know when that happened. Why is everyone talking about miles per hour now? I'd rather have a guy who could accelerate fast.
Well, generally it used to be the 40 time, 4.4, 4.3, whatever.
It was 100 meters, 60 meters. I don't know. Is it just because that's easier to put a gun on it and calculate with whatever the software that everybody's using? I'm not sure, but either way, if you know what measures you're using, it's pretty impressive when you see the miles per hour that Daniels gets up to. I mean, he had that one run, of course, the other night, and then the shorter run was even more impressive.
Well, but the 85 yards, most players, regardless of who you are, the piano gets on your back after about 50, 60 yards. You're still going, but you start, man, he did not miss a beat, ran away from people. That second run, that was as unbelievable, beautiful, in between traffic, following the blocking. And this is against Florida now. This is not against Grambling or some, FCS team. But look, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase went Heisman, Biletnikoff. It's way too much to ask for Daniels and Malik Neighbors to go Heisman and Biletnikoff, but they darn sure will be at those ceremonies and be in the running.
Daniels got his Senior Bowl invite today. It was handed to him in person by the head of the Senior Bowl. You know his name. He's probably been on your show. I don't know. I forget his name. But anyways, I was on with Eric Asher in New Orleans yesterday, and he said that he saw a draft board that has Daniels going as the 32nd pick. So being a first rounder. And of course, he's big guy covering the Saints. And he absolutely says, absolutely, if he falls to that spot or that the Saints need to grab him.
The Saints haven't drafted many Tigers as of late. Now they did pick up
but that would be great if he.
Yeah, it would be great. But I mean, let's just don't hold our breath waiting for the Saints.
But now he's going to the Senior Bowl. Do you think that's going to help him?
Absolutely.
I think that's could be really for him to showcase, and you get all that time for those days in practice to work with NFL people and really raise your stock.
I think he's going to go first round. I do.
Yeah. McGrath, JD5 is a friggin' gazelle. What a pleasure to watch. Yeah, I think he does too. A 4.3. It's probably what.
Yeah, 4.3 something. You know.
You know, it was crazy there. It's not like you have any slow quarterbacks on that team. Obviously, he's a much better runner than Nussmeier, but Nussmeier ain't slow. He's probably in the 4.6 to 4.7 range. Yeah, I'm sorry about this, Todd. I keep seeing it and forgetting to put it up. Mike, is there any more talk about Relaford and Bussey transferring? We're going to see how this plays out. Bussey, there was a lot of buzz there for a while. We're going to see what happens in the next couple of weeks. I will say this before Jimbo got fired into last week, I thought Relaford was going to stick with A&M. And we've got him for an interview on Sunday after the firing. And he was pretty upset about it. He was very upset about it, which tells you he was going to stick. I think he could still stick. They could still maybe hold on to him, depending on who they hired and how soon they do it. And I have a strong feeling they're going to want to keep that defensive line coach because everyone in the country wants him.
Sure.
You know, so how many guys does whoever the new coach keep from Jimbo's staff? He's got some good coaches in there, but their defensive line coach is a heck of a recruiter, and that's why he's the interim coach. Bo Jacks, Lindsey is a House guy. If House leaves, I would assume so does he. We'll see how that plays out with Lindsey's health and LSU. They're going to do the right thing by Jimmy Lindsey, regardless. If they keep on, if he's not 100% and they make a change, I think he would still remain as an analyst and stay on his health insurance.
But by the way, you got to realize that this has been a tough year for the defense. We chronicled this before. Jimmy Lindsey, before the season happening, you lost both defensive captains and Greg Brooks. Continued prayers for him. Mekhi Wingo, some people tell me, oh, he's going to get ready and go to the combine and go pro. Other people think, no, he wants to come back for another year to raise his stock. What's going to happen with Mason and 35, who made a few plays, but not nearly the plays we thought those two guys would make. But you got to get more defensive depth, more defensive linemen. And let's be honest.
And that's the whole.
You got to get DBU back to some semblance of DBU.
I do think, well.
And that's going to take a couple more years.
When you lost Kai Bates, now I'm thinking a little bit of a different tune. Let's see what they do. Now I think they're going to have to go to the portal for maybe one or two more cornerbacks than they wanted to. And
you made a point on the show today that this is where you got to spend quality dollars. They lost 3 or 4 portal kids last year to Florida State.
If there's a stud there, they're going to need to overpay like nobody's business to make sure they get whoever that is, if it's an NIL play. Guys, if you're enjoying the show, please hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and do it and hit that notification bell. We've got a lot coming your way on our YouTube channel. We're loading that thing up every day with stuff. All right, let's see. Let me scroll up and get to some more of your comments. Edo got the crabs. Given the questions about how some players on the D were used, do guys like Perkins, Weeks, and Womack go into the portal? And that's scary. Perkins isn't a guy that wouldn't hesitate to get in the portal, I don't think. Womack, I don't think Weeks goes anywhere.
As long as his brother Wes Weeks is here, Whit Weeks is going to be here. By the way, I don't know if people saw this, but Wes Weeks got in and he absolutely destroyed a guy and drove him all the way into the bench. Should have been a 15-yard penalty, but it wasn't. He's spicy because Whit hadn't had a chance to play. He hasn't had that much of a chance to play. But I've seen Womack. He's heavily involved on the sidelines. I think he's happy. He's got a chance to start next year. Harold Perkins, you're talking about brand. You're talking about money. You're talking about utilization. That's going to be interesting.
And then look,
I don't think Perk wants to go anywhere.
Like a guy like Quincy Wiggins, is he starting to think about where he's at on the depth chart, what his future is? If he wants to play, does he have to go somewhere? What's going through Quincy Wiggins' mind right now? That you've got a bunch of guys like that.
Yeah. Well, look, I think they're going to lose a few more than they did last year to the portal, but this is those discussions that you have with the coach after the regular season where you sit down and say, let's talk. And I think you got to give Coach Kelly the benefit of the doubt. He's been able to come in here. He tried to tell everybody this year before the season. People asked about championship, and he said, we're still 1 year away from depth. Having the 85 solid, got the benefit of being able to recruit more than anybody you want. You can sign 40 if you want. But, Mike, in year 3, this is pretty important for him to have a little stability, and that means fixing the defense, number one.
But he cannot have the disasters in the portal that he had last time.
No.
Whoever he gets in the portal, he's got to have a high percentage success rate. Yeah.
But it's a good question from Krabs, of course, who's always cutting edge stuff.
Absolutely. He's one of our best. Palermo Trapani, LSU is averaging 45.9 points per game. They're not going to do that next year. Let's say they average 34.5 next year, 2022's total, which was good. They need to get scoring defense down from the 29 now.
No doubt about it. Giving up 419 yards a game, averaging 560 a game. It's going to be a different team. And Mike, as we know, with our boy out at USC, there's always rumors about him possibly going NFL. But their defense has not ever been expected to do great things. So we'll see what Lincoln Riley does. That first game, I still know a lot of people. Did you ever determine if you're going or not? You don't know? You going?
What?
Vegas, 24.
I think I might be going.
Okay.
Bo Jack's Lane Kiffin at A&M is scary. I tell you what, I've been really paying attention to what our friends over at TexAgs have been reporting all week long, and they seem to be scoffing at the Kiffin rumors. They'll say, of course, Kiffin would love to have the A&M job, but he don't think that he's a guy that will make their list.
I don't either.
So we're going to see how that plays out. Creek Dweller, Louisiana has real dudes that can play DB, but they're going elsewhere. All sorts of rumors out there about how that might play out in the coming weeks. It certainly is going to be interesting. Parrish Shan has made some plays. He has another year as well. Look, before Kai Bates fell off, depending on what happens with Bussy, and I was thinking the only big worry for me for next year is defensive line, and they've got to get that right. I don't know how they're going to get the numbers and what all they're going to need. As we've been saying for the last several weeks, 2 months ago, we would have said, no way Wingo would be coming back for another year. Now we think there's probably a good chance he will, and that can save your bacon a bit, but you're going to need more than that. And that whole unit needs to be rebuilt.
Well, no disrespect to Jimmy Lindsey. Most people feel like there will be a different defensive line coach. Coach Kelly did this week say he's been utilized in an administrative role. So we'll wait to see. As you alluded to, you can keep these guys on now in so many different ways and fashions. Shake. Pete Jenkins, is he going to be by the wayside? What's going to happen with House? I think Cooks and Steeples certainly. You gotta. It's hard to project, but those numbers don't look good, and feel bad for Steeples. He thought he had the Ricks kid last year, and Alabama came and snaked him, and then had Andre Evans who decommitted and committed to Georgia. Where do you think Kai Bates is going to go? You hear Florida State?
Just the fact that he was at Florida State this weekend, and then he goes home and decommits, kind of tells you the story. But I could be wrong. Big cojones, Kelly. If Elijah Robinson isn't retained, I want him as a D-line coach.
Absolutely.
Everybody in the country would like to have him, and that'd be a nice one to pick up for sure.
He's the interim coach. They've got a cupcake this weekend, and then come in and play LSU the final game at 11 a.m. Senior ceremonies, I don't know what they usually do, 20, 25 minutes before. So that's going to be pretty much an empty stadium, or a half-empty stadium for that.
Creek Dweller with a super chat, $4.99. Thank you for that. And Dane Bergeron says A&M women are not pretty enough for Kiffin.
Dane, you were exactly right. There's no way he would. No, the cheerleaders. Come on, Kiffin. Look, remember we had Black Dog and all the people telling us that Kiffin should get a gig here. Lane Kiffin still has not won at a high enough level to command, but he is a guy you want to party with and cocktail with and talk with and hang out with, but he still has that reputation of not being able to get over the fence. We'll see if Pete Golding, but you text me, that would be interesting. What would happen to Walker Howard if Kiffin did go elsewhere?
Yeah. I don't see Kiffin going anywhere. But
I don't. A&M's not a fit. Now, Mike Elko from Duke could be a guy that was a fit. He was over there 4 years, defensive coordinator, good coach. Look, as much money as they got, did I hear right? Somebody gave them $135 million at halftime.
Yeah.
When's the last time LSU had a halftime ceremony like that?
Yeah.
Folks, it takes money. We told the people in Texas, it takes money to compete with the elite.
What else you get at halftime is kicking students kicking 30-yard field goals for a year's worth of gas, or a year's worth of Raising Cane's. Bo Jacks, Braden Swinson's production is so far ahead of Ovi Gofu's. Wonder what the staff sees there.
I agree.
DJ with a super chat. Why are our safeties playing corner and vice versa? Because that's what you're left down to. That's what you're having to do. You're having to piecemeal players back there to try and make a go of it because of injuries, inactive players. But
let's be honest now. I thought Chestnut was going to be in the slot, and he never got that opportunity. We don't know what happened. He played 4 games. A lot of rumors that he's going to redshirt and go somewhere else. Once again, whenever you have that second transfer, though, you got to sit out. So that's problematic for him. Denver Harris, we know, probably came on here on a zero tolerance policy. And, he's been in the doghouse. LaTerrence Welsh has not stepped it up. So now you've got Ashton Stamps and Jeremiah Hughes and Javen Toviano having to play corners. Also, I didn't include Zy Alexander, another bad break. I'm trying to give the defense – look, you lose your line coach, your 2 captains, your corner. It hasn't been easy for the defense, but still LSU fans have been embarrassed because, Mike, you watched the game on Saturday night and your brain says, okay, honey, how many are they going to have to score tonight? And she looks over and says, probably about 35 or 40. And that's what it's been. As our viewer said earlier, they're giving up 29 a game. So you have to outscore people almost in every big game. And that's what caught up to them against Bama. You had a tipped ball. And, They control the ball, but you can't have any room for error with this defense, and that's tough to win every week that way.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk to our friend Brittany. Okay, guys, everybody's been talking about the miracle weight loss drug semaglutide, and Brittany here with Drip IV is here to talk about it.
Hi, guys. I am so excited to talk to you about this drug. I've had such amazing results with my clients. I had a girl text me earlier. She's lost 41 pounds, just bought new jeans, still can't fit in her jeans. But the reason I love this drug goes way beyond weight loss. The cardiovascular benefits, the just absolute remodeling of your body and the things that it could do for you long term. I am all on board. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you'll have me each step of the way going through it with you, making sure that you're not having side effects and really losing weight in a healthy way.
Give them a call. What number do they call, Brittany?
Yeah, so you can call our Baton Rouge office at 225-256-3634 and book your consultation, or you can call Lafayette at 337-347-6655. Kylie, the nurse practitioner there, would love to consult with you.
Right there on Perkins Road next to Sushiyama, Iverstein Farms. Can't miss them. Great location, and they're going to take care of you. And so go see Brittany and all them at Drip IV. There you have it. Get over to Drip IV. Great location right there next to Sushiyama and Iverstein Farms on Perkins Road, Perkins Crossing. Great location, and the weight loss that people are having. I'm about one more pasta meal away from needing double dosages from Brittany, and so there you go. Yeah, Big Cojones Kels wants to know if Brittany knows ball. She does. She's a big LSU fan too. Y'all get over and see her if you need that or an IV drip. Brian Russell says Kelly needs to make changes to the defense instead of excuses. Kelly talked about playing freshmen being a problem, but LSU has always had freshman defensive superstars. It's a lack of development. Me and Brian Lazar have kind of had a little back and forth about why not Weeks. Why is Omar Space playing ahead of him? And Lazar just swears up and down it's because BK likes upperclassmen over freshmen regardless. And I don't think that's the case. But he kind of does give me pause because what we were seeing out of Weeks up until Spates got healthy was pretty I don't know. It had you pretty excited about the future.
And I think you just hit the key point on why LSU fans are questioning Matt House in year 2 and worried about the defense. Last year, it took them a while. After the Tennessee debacle, Matt House found a spot for Harold Perkins and let him loose. And nobody knew about him. And it took 2 or 3 games for them to realize, where's 40? Where's 40? Arkansas had no idea about him. And, of course, he was a preseason All-SEC pick coming into this year. This year, Mike, you see Whit Weeks explode on. He's running like a shot out of a cannon, so he doesn't know exactly every play. He plays fast. He's a smart guy, and he's a good tackler, and yet he got put on the bench. And so now you talk about what Krabs talked about. If you can't tell 13's been playing better than 2, and all they do on 13 is put him in pass rush, he's been better than OVO Gofu all year long. Poor Spate, I thought Omar was going to be better, didn't you?
Yeah.
When we saw him in camp. And you can go on and on and on. Deshaun Womack got a cup of coffee, hadn't played.
And by the way, just because you're an all Pac-12 performer doesn't mean that correlates to the SEC.
But what has he developed from a defensive standpoint? And here's the other kicker. Halftime adjustments left a lot to be desired. Those things were all taken care of last year. Now, he did have 2 experienced corners and 2 experienced safeties. Obviously, Jarek Bernard Converse.
And we always forget about Greg Brooks.
And Greg Brooks and Fouché last year. So, look, losing Brooks, Wingo, Zy Alexander, it's tough, but I have not seen Matt House.
And even with those guys, you still have that awful defensive line.
But I haven't seen him make the adjustments this year that he made last year. And that's what is very disconcerting to the fan base.
Dane Bergeron, Bo Jack says Weeks apparently in the doghouse for some off the field things, just rumors, but would make sense.
I don't, who knows?
Yeah, Dane Bergeron with a super chat. Thank you, Dane. Mike, your conversation with Lazar is giving me Les Miles flashbacks. The horror.
Snake, you gotta love Snake, don't you?
Yeah, he's good. All right, I'm scrolling up here, guys. Give me a second. I want to get to some of your comments, make sure I didn't miss any that we need to get up here.
By the way, looked it up. Baseball, purple and gold, 4:30 on Friday, 1 o'clock on Saturday out at Skip Bertman Field. And all I can tell you is everybody that I've talked to, incredible amount of pitching, and they've got more depth with position players. So this is going to be a hell of a roster that Coach Johnson has in year 3.
Yeah. Guys, you need to get over to Alumni Hall, and they're actually bursting at the seams with pullovers and sweatshirts. It's holiday season. A lot of people trying to get their Christmas shopping done. Get the LSU fan in your life something really nice over at Alumni Hall. Of course, they've got Nike Golf, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, and much more. You can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Tiger fans shop. And LSU students, faculty, and military, you receive 10% off in store every day. Beautiful store. And they got everything you want now. The cool weather's here. A lot of people want the newest pullovers and sweatshirts and jackets and all that stuff. And they also have the new Van Lith and Angel Reese jerseys, the NIL jerseys over there. Real big right now. They've got them. And so go check them out in Perkins Row. Yeah, Dane Bergeron, my credit card is crying from shopping with grandsons at Alumni Hall this past weekend. Hope you said TigerBait while you were there. All right, guys. Yeah, DJ, why didn't Wardell Mack seriously consider LSU? He came to LSU. I guess that was for the spring game or the boys from the boot or one of them. And
No, I don't think he came to the boot.
he came to one of the events and his parents didn't get out of the car.
Yeah. And then we thought that when Kai Bates committed, it may have affected his decision. He went to Florida a couple weeks later, committed for them, and then obviously ended up and flipping it at Texas. And as you alluded to, Terry Joseph is one hell of a coach and recruiter with the Longhorns.
All right, guys. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks to Buddy Songy for joining me again this week. And every week is I know a lot of you guys have been tuning in, hitting the like button, and I get a lot of comments when I'm out and about saying how much they like Buddy in here with me. And so thanks to all of you guys. And again, we hit 24,000 subscribers on Monday, and that's a big thanks to all of you. Had a big crowd here tonight. Again, on the way out, if you enjoyed the show, hit the like button. And Preston and I will be here late Saturday night with your post-game show. Preston did a really interesting interview earlier this evening with someone who's breaking down LSU's defensive staff. And that's going to be one you're going to want to see tomorrow once we get the edit done. So be on the lookout. That's why you need to hit the subscribe button, notification bell. We've also got a lot of recruiting stuff coming your way on TigerBait. Go check it out over there for $1. And by the way, we're going to have the info posted for you to get gift cards for TigerBait for Christmas. They're digital gift cards that you can give to the LSU fan you like. You can give them a TigerBait Premium for a year. It's a great Christmas gift. So we'll have that up on the site in the next day or two.
And I will make a verbal commitment right now to do the show next Wednesday night, the night before Thanksgiving, if you're in.
We might do that. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We need to see what basketball
if
games
not, we certainly want to wish each and every one of yours out there health and turkey and all the trimmings from Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. All right. Thank y'all. Good night.